Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode corporate filings so you don't have to. Today we're diving into the RealReal's latest proxy statement. And let me tell you, it's not just about board meetings and votes. There are some juicy details in here about how the company plans to shake things up and who's getting paid what, or at least the right to get paid. In short, they're having their annual meeting like most companies do, but a few things are special this time. They're asking shareholders to vote on a few key changes, including making the board of directors more accessible and figuring out who gets to be protected from certain lawsuits. First up, they are asking you to vote on who should be on the board. It's like a popularity contest, but for suits, not students. 3 people are up for election: Rati Sahi Levesque, Chip Baird, and James Miller. The board wants you to vote for them. Rati's the CEO, so it makes sense they want her on the board. Chip is a finance guy, probably knows how to read a spreadsheet better than most of us. And James has experience scaling operations. Basically, he helps companies grow really fast. Chip's experience is in finance and capital structure, so he knows money. These guys are a mix of experience. Speaking of the board, let's look at how the RealReal is run. All the directors except the CEO are independent, meaning they aren't directly tied to the company's day-to-day operations. They also have committees, like an audit committee that keep an eye on the books, and a compensation committee that decides how much the executives get paid. The audit committee has a lot of power. They oversee the company's accounting, pick the outside auditors, and even have a way for employees to report concerns anonymously. This helps make sure everything is above board, or at least tries to. The compensation committee decides how much the big bosses get paid. They look at things like performance and how other companies are paying their executives. The company recognizes that they should actually listen to their investors. In early 2025, they spoke with some of their largest stockholders to gather feedback on all sorts of issues. The board says that they're listening and making changes based on what the stockholders want. The RealReal says they're committed to being sustainable and socially responsible, or ESG as they call it. Because they are a secondhand retailer, their core business helps with that mission. They want to keep luxury goods in circulation instead of sitting in a landfill. One way they're doing this is by accepting items in fair or even as-is condition, meaning things that are a little worn or need repair. The idea is that even an imperfect item can find a new home and avoid creating more waste. Alright, so the RealReal is asking you to say yes to the accounting firm that checks their numbers. It's like asking for a thumbs up on your doctor's recommendation for a specialist. The firm is called KPMG, and they've been auditing the RealReal for a while. In 2024, the RealReal paid KPMG $2.77 million for their work. It's a lot of money, but it's what you pay to make sure the books are in order. Next up, they're asking you for a non-binding vote on how they're paying the top executives. It's a say-on-pay vote, but even if you vote against it, the company doesn't have to listen. Still, it's a chance to voice your opinion. Now let's get to the juicy stuff, how much the big bosses are making. Remember, these are just the folks at the very top. Rati Sahi Levesque, the CEO, and the other top folks. They have base salaries, bonuses, and stock options. The goal is to align their interests with yours, the shareholder. For 2024, Rati Sahi Levesque, the CEO, had a salary of $540 and $385, a bonus of $300,000 stock awards worth $10 million, and some other compensation bringing her total to $11.5 million, and some other compensation bringing her total to $11.5 million. That bonus is about 52% of her salary. Compare that to 2023, she only made about $2 million. Wow, that's about a 5 times increase. Most of that is in stock awards. RJ Gopal, the CFO, made $622 million with a sign-on bonus of $300,000, $384K in salary, and lots of stock. Stock incentives is how they lure big talent. Todd Suko, the chief legal officer, made about $222 million, and Chattel Lynch, the chief people officer, made about $3.1 million. Luke Frung, the Chief Technology and Product Officer, made about $2 million 2024 and took about $227K. A big chunk of their pay comes from restricted stock units, or RSUs, and performance-based restricted stock units, or PSUs. PSUs vest if the company hits certain goals like free cash flow. If the big dogs perform, they get paid more in the long run. The company also has to disclose how much the CEO makes compared to the average employee. In 2024, the CEO made 199 times what the median employee made. The median employee was about $45,168. This gets interesting. The RealReal wants to declassify their board. What this means is instead of directors being elected to 3-year terms, they all have to run for re-election every year. This gives shareholders more power to kick out people they don't like. Management wants us to progress toward corporate governance best practices over a reasonable timeline. Another important governance issue is to limit liability of certain officers. They are asking you as stockholder if they can protect some of their own officers from lawsuits. Basically, if an officer messes up but didn't do it on purpose, they might not have to pay up. Again, this is so that they can attract new talented candidates that are worth protecting with money. So those are the key points in the RealReal's latest filing. They're cleaning up their corporate governance, paying their executives handsomely, and trying to be socially responsible, all while running a business that's dependent on people buying and selling used luxury goods. Ultimately, I would say that the direction of RealReal seems positive, but is very dependent on its CEO's performance. It's a marketplace company, and that can be very lucrative if the marketplace works, or be in the gutter if people stop using the marketplace. For the near future, it is hard to predict the stock. It is better to see at least 1-2 quarters of results before saying anything. Now it's your turn. Let me know in the comments if this company is going somewhere, and what do you think about their corporate governance. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please subscribe, like, and comment.